Hello everyone, welcome to Keyboard Skills Pro. My name is Tom and here we go with a little hints and tips video on how to add more advanced chords to a piece of music that's fairly simple. I'd like to thank a patron of mine, Graham Fleetwood, for requesting this, and the reason Graham can request a video is because he originally signed up on Patreon for the Gold membership. Gold allows you to choose 3 video topics for me to record at your request, and then we put them on YouTube, so not only does everybody get the benefit, but you also get a personalised shout out. So thanks for Graham for asking this, and we have actually done a few more videos for Graham on the channel as well. But yeah, so I've chosen this little song, which is When I Grow Too Old to Dream. This comes from a Kenny Baker book. Complete Organ Player Songbook Volume 1. These were the books where they had a black cover, big coloured writing, and then the famous hands drawing was put in the corner. So this is Songbook Volume 1. You can probably still find it on there. So yeah, 24 songs, and I've picked When I Grow Too Old to Dream. Now it's a very simple song. It's in F major. In fact, I've even got some handwriting on here from my organ teacher many years ago. So we've got F major, we've got C major, B flat, D minors. Now you see the thing with that is that all of those basic chords are all found in the key of F major. So let's do a little bit of music theory prep first of all. What is the key of F major? Well, it's a musical set of tools, musical pitches that can be used to form melodies and chords and harmonies, all based around the F note. Okay, so if I play my F scale, I've got 7 keys in a pattern which is known as the Ionian mode. It's what we call the major scale. So we have a B flat, so it's F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and F is the repeat. And we number those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 is 1 again. Okay, now when we write a song, we can use just what we call the 3 primary chords, which is the 1st, the 4th, and the 5th. But to put them in order of their importance, it's the 1st note, which is F, the 5th note, which is C, that's called the dominant, and the B flat is the subdominant. Okay, so we've got the tonic number 1, the dominant number 5, and the subdominant, the B flat. Now those, because we're in a major key, we're saying the F note is producing a major chord. Okay, the other 2 chords, B flat and C chords, are all major chords. Now I could actually, if I wanted to, play the whole song just with those 3 chords. I could ignore the G minors and the D minors. I could actually replace those. So there it is, look, nice and simple. B flat chord now, instead of G minor. So I can actually take out the G minor and put something else in its place. So you could actually play most tunes, if you strip them right back, into just 3 chords. Now, of course, major chords all the time make it too majoring. So by the nature of how the notes are laid out, if you take the 2nd, the 3rd and the 6th notes of the scale, the G, the A and the D, you will then get 3 minor chords. G produces G minor, thanks to the B flat. A, C is A minor, and of course D makes D minor. And that's why some of those are in that particular arrangement as well. We've got G minor here, we've got D minor, and of course we've got minor 7s and 6s, but across the whole page there's not really that many chords. There's a couple of others just to make it interesting. So Graham's question was, how do I include more advanced chords? What do I do to make them more advanced? Well, the inclusion of more advanced chords has to be thought about. It's not just a case of looking in a chord dictionary and going, right, F6, 9, 13, sharp flat 9, 5, minus 10, whatever the nasty chord symbol might be. So, for example, let's take the opening line. Look, so we're starting with an F6 chord. Okay, so why don't I take that F6 chord out? Okay, and I'm going to pop in just F major. Then the next bar, there's not a chord. The next bar, there's not a chord. The next bar, there's not a chord. That's because all that goes over F6. So let's try it with the organ pattern that's written. Okay, so it's pedal, chord, and pedal. Now that's fine, but of course, Kenneth Baker books, as we know, are written in a series. Books 1 to 7 were the learning books, and then there was a series of song books which had just pieces in with no tuition material, just to complement the tuition books. So they're all written in a similar style, and in fact, Songbook Volume 1 would be written more or less to complement probably the early books. So the accompaniment pattern is not overly exciting, is it? Let's face it, you know, we've just got the pedal going, pedal, pedal. That's all the pedal's doing all the way through. And the chord, you can see, is just plonking down and holding for the remainder. So, fine, but we want to make it more interesting. So we can do that by using the F chord all the way through, but we're going to use variations on the F chord. So I'm going to go F chord, and then on the next bar, when I grow, I'm going to put F6 in. And then on the next bar, I'm going to put F major 7. And then F6. So what I've got there is a little movement on the left hand, look. When I grow too old to dream. Excuse me. So instead of playing the F chord continually, or the same flavour of chord, F6, change it up by using some of those variations on an F chord. Now, some of you are probably looking at the screen and going, hey, I know those chords. That's rather useful, Tom. Thank you so much. But maybe you just hadn't thought about including them. So remember that if you've got 3 or 4 bars of the same chord, change each bar to a variation. Plain major chord, F major 6, excuse me, F major 7, then back to another one, F6. Isn't that lovely? Really nice. Okay, so there's our first 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, Mr. Hammerstein and Mr. Romberg, who wrote this piece, well, Mr. Romberg wrote the piece. Oscar Hammerstein II of Richard Rodgers and Hammerstein fame. One of his early tunes, this one, mid-30s. He puts a G minor in, you see. Now, when he goes G minor, C, F, that's a common chord sequence of 2, 5, 1. Okay, so we're going G minor, which is based on the second. That's why we call it chord 2. Then 5 is C, 7, and then F6. So that creates a 2, 5, 1 sequence. Now, with chords, you can do a thing called chord substitution. So what this means is we take a chord out, so we remove G minor 7, and we replace it with something different. So the easiest one is what we call its related chord, its relative chord. So G minor is related to B flat major. So what that means is that the scale of B flat major is virtually the same as the natural G minor scale. So the way you work out these chords is if you've got a minor chord of G, excuse me, to work out its relative, you count up 3 semitones on your keyboard, 3 half steps. So what we're going to do is we're going to find our G, and then we're going to count up 1 note, G sharp, 2 notes, A natural, 3 notes, B flat. So we don't count the first one, we go G, and then 1, 2, 3. That B flat is the related note. They're like cousins, same family, but different sides of the family. Okay, you got one side the major flat family, and then the other side the minor family. So if it says G minor, I can replace that with a B flat chord. Now you're probably thinking, well, hang on a minute, that sounds tickety-boo, Tom, but there's a G in the melody. There's not a G in a B flat chord. There's a B flat, a D, and an F. But hey, if we put a G in the melody, we then say to ourselves, well, how does that G relate to the B flat? Well, if we play the B flat scale, 5, it's the 6th note. So you could then argue it's actually going to be B flat major 6, which we have got that a little bit later in the piece. So that would work fine. So have a listen then. Here we go. Here's our opening line. F major, major 6, major 7, back to major 6. Now we'll go to B flat, look. Listen to that, C7, and that sounds pretty, doesn't it? We're not doing hugely complicated things there, but we are starting to include some slightly more advanced chord theory to the music. Now the next little bit goes, when I grow too old to dream, to love and live in my heart. I mean, it's a gorgeous tune. It's one of those simple songs. I always used to play this when I used to play for ballroom dancing as one of the last waltzes. If you had the last waltz of the evening, you'd have When I Grow Too Old to Dream, Now Is the Hour, When We Must Say Goodbye. Those were lovely songs. Or The Last Waltz, Engelbert Humperdinck, and just lovely melodies. So, what can we do with the next bit? So we've gone, there we go. Now we could go, oh, so some ideas there. Now, one of the most powerful things you can do in music is with this stuff down here, the pedals. How do we make the pedals make a change? Well, Graham asked about more advanced chords, but what he really meant was more advanced harmonies on the left hand. And of course, the left hand in popular organ music goes hand in hand with the pedals down here. So when I play a B flat 6 chord, why do I have to play B flat with it? That is not a rhetorical question, although it sounds like it. There are actually a whole range of notes. I've got 4 notes to choose from. I've got B flat, D, F, there's the B flat chord, look. And I've also got a G. So I'm gonna, when I finish this melody, look, I'm gonna play my B flat 6 chord on a D bass. Now that creates a big difference because we're using the third of the chord, okay, the third of the chord, which is this one, as the bass note. So yes, we'll probably play our B flat inversion like this, but in music basics, there's the middle note of the chord. That's now going onto the pedals. Okay, so listen to this, look. When I grow too old. That's lovely, isn't it? So I'm walking up the bass there because I've got to get to F chord here, okay, and I've got a C chord before it, a C7, so I can use my E on the pedal to walk up to F. So I create a walking bass. So I'm not changing the chords, I'm changing the bass line. Isn't that lovely? So there you see. Oh, and by the way, if you're thinking, oh, this would be really nice to get a version of, what I've done is I've sketched some of this out for you in a PDF. Okay, so if you want to grab this copy, you're able to get this on patron.com. Just sign up for silver level, and there'll be a PDF on there with some of the harmonies written out and sketched out for you, just to give you some indication of how it goes. And then of course you can copy it, because this version's in the key of F. If you're in a different key, you're going to need to adapt the chords, but these are just ideas. So let's play it through then. There we go, B flat this time. Now B flat on a D pedal, C on an E pedal, then F to D minor. Oh, hello. That sounds rather nice, doesn't it? Okay, so what are we doing there? Okay, well, what we did there, we used a little trick in the book called I can't remember what it's called. Tritone substitution, that's it. A bit difficult, this one, but we'll talk about this in another video. But basically, when I got to the end there, I did that. Really nice sound. So what it is, basically it's just a it's a D flat 7 chord, but it's D flat 7 with a 9. So it's F, A flat, B natural, and E flat. Another way of looking at it is F minor 7, flat 5, but on the pedals it's D flat. it's a little sort of it's an interesting chord. And what I then do is I slide off that to F6, but I play C on the pedals, stay on C, and then F. So listen to that section then, we'll go back to here. There's that walking bass, so when I grow too old to dream, and then on the last beat, whack it in, chromatic. There you go. Like that, lovely sound, look. Pedals doing this. Okay. Right, that's the wrong keyboard, Tom. Now, the idea as we go to the end there of the last section is that we've got F chord, C chord, F chord. So we've got now what we call a cadence, an ending, okay. So normally it's C to F, which is a 5-1 ending. 5-1. See how we can relate everything back to the basic keys and basic scales. So why have we got an F chord going to a C chord going to an F chord? Well, sometimes you get a slightly extended version of the 5-1 finish, and that's a 1-5-1. And what they like to do is, and they did this, you know, hundreds of years ago in music, and they would like to sort of preempt the ending by saying, we're about to end, but we're not going to end just at this moment because we're going to then do our proper ending, which is 5-1. Okay, so what they do is they put the first chord in, and then 5 goes to 1, and then it finishes. So by playing the F6 chord on a C pedal, we're using the C pedal down here because that is the 5th note of the F chord, look. The F scale as well, but also it's the top note, 1, 3, 5. So in music theory, we label that in harmony analysis as chord 1, second inversion, but it means that the 5th note of the chord, sorry, the 5th from the chord, I should say, the 5th note of the scale is on the bass pedal. So essentially it's just an F chord on a C pedal. Okay, so you're going to get this sound. It sounds like it's not finished. Do you hear that C pedal going? No, it's not an F chord, but then you're ready for the C chord. There you go, that's nice, isn't it? Really pretty. Now, just messing around there with ideas, so I'm going to go, so kiss me tonight. And actually, if I read the words, I can't read and play. I'm a man. I can't multitask. By the way, if this is your first time visiting me here on my YouTube channel, I'll just wave and say, hi gang, my name's Tom, and yeah, you've stumbled across my YouTube channel. There's loads of organ videos and piano videos on here, music theory, so I do hope you'll hit the old subscribe button. I'd appreciate that, and we try and upload new videos every week. We do live streams quite regular, music theory, how to play piano piece videos, lots of things, and one of the specialities of the channel is organ style lessons, church organ, theatre organ, orchestral organ. We also do vintage sheet music. Yeah, so it's an eclectic mix, if you will. It's a channel within a channel within a channel of ideas. So I'm on page 2 now, gang. And by the way, if you haven't got this book, I'm sure you can find a copy of it somewhere, maybe on eBay. Sometimes maybe a local music shop might have some organ books. As many of you know, I work part-time at Allen's Music in Great Yarmouth here in England. And at Allen's, we're the UK's and Europe's biggest home organ retailer. We do all the brands, Verzi, Lowry, and we do carry organ books, also pre-owned organ books. So Volume 1, Complete Organ Player Songbook. Okay, there it is in blue. And nice book, got some lovely songs in, so do have a little look at that. So I've gone on to page 2 now, and it goes, so kiss me, my sweet. Oh, they don't write words like that anymore. The F chord's carrying on, C7, so it's just that same sequence, lot. F, C, and F, so it's 1, 5, 1, very simple. So we've got all these chords in the B minor scale B minor, Tom? F major. I was just doing a song in B minor, wake up. In the F major scale. So let's use some of them, because this is the thing you've got to remember, gang, is that this scale gives you two sets of things. One, it's the notes for the melody. Look at the melody, look. Scale, broken chord. That's all it is. Very simple. If you then stack the notes, play, miss, play, miss, play, and build on each of the 7 notes, you get 7 chords. 3 majors, 3 minors, and 1 diminished. Let's use some of them. So I'm going to change this. There's not a chord here. Let's shove one in. Okay, what can we put there then? Let's try A minor. That worked, didn't it? Why? Well, because A minor's in the key. The C in the melody is in the A minor chord. That's how it works. Let's try B diminished. Not B diminished, E diminished. That sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, very nice. Okay, so that could work. Let's try B flat major. Hey, so you see they all work, don't they? You just got to be confident to have a go at putting them in. I'm going to go with the second chord, G minor, because this is going to create another chord sequence in music that gets used a lot. We talked about it over here, the 2-5-1. So we're going to put 2-5-1 and we're going to go G minor, then C7, but then instead of going to F6, I'm going to go to D minor there, because that will create a thing called an interrupted cadence. It's where it sounds like it's going to have a conclusion, but then it gets interrupted. That's beautiful, isn't it? What about that? And you think it's going to go there. There's a D minor 9. Little change there. So that's gorgeous. Now we've got do A7. That's the third chord been raised up. Now mostly that line's okay because it's going sol let us, but we've got F chord, A7, D minor, F. So there's a lot of changes in there already. That's quite pretty, isn't it? So maybe we don't need to do too much there. I could do one of these though. That's pretty, isn't it? So I did there, I used my E diminished. The diminished chord on note 7, we don't use that a lot, but if you pop it in, it kind of becomes sort of like a G minor 6 chord. But again, look on the pedals, look. I'm playing my E, so it suggests that it's an E diminished chord. Now, E to A is of course a 5th, isn't it? And then A to D is another 5th. So we've kind of got a circle of 5ths movement going on there. Nice sound, look. Okay, let's go from that second page. G minor 7. There you go. And then just drop down, look. So G, B flat, E for my E diminished on the E pedal. Then A7. Then D minor. Then I'm going to go C minor 7, F7. Then raise the C to C sharp. That creates an augmented. Now let's just stick to the chords. Because it's nice after you've done some fancy stuff to then do a section of not fancy stuff. It keeps it nice and balanced. The last line is F, C, F. Again, let's use that F chord on a C pedal. And then we're going to use a D, let's use on what we call our movie ending. So flat 6 major, so D flat chord, E flat chord, and then F. Isn't that pretty? So some nice ideas in there, gang, and I hope you've enjoyed exploring that, and thanks to Graham for his suggestion of how to include some more ideas. But you can see there, a lot of the time we were just using chords mostly from the key, and they're all there. It's just you've got to be, it's like a scratch card, you've got to be able to, you know, sort of move it away like that. So so very, very nice. I'm going to see if I can write that out as an organ arrangement, and it might be that if it's available for licensing, I work with a company called well, they used to be called Sheet Music Plus. There's two websites, Sheet Music Plus and Sheet Music Direct, and you can buy a lot of my music books on there as digital copies and download them and print them. There's also arrangements on there, but I work with they're now owned by Hal Leonard, and Hal Leonard have an Arrange Me program where composers and arrangers like myself, we can take a song, do a version of it, upload it, and then we're legally allowed to sell that as a version. They've just included on their website, very excitingly, an organ division. So we will now be able to, so I'm going to see if that's on there. I'm going to write out that as a proper arrangement, and you'll be able to treat yourself to that by purchasing it. But that's Sheet Music Plus or sheetmusicdirect.com, and check out my my page on there. So once again, thanks to Graham for his patron suggestion. Don't forget, visit patron.com/Keyboard Skills Pro. You can get that little sketch of the harmony on there. Okay, and if you'd like to support the channel, please do sign up. There's lots of bonus videos and content on there which you won't find anywhere else. So have fun playing that little piece, folks, and enjoying extra harmonies, more advanced harmonies to make a song sound a little nicer. All the best, gang. See you soon.